Some of my clients recently started using Stripe to collect payments from their customers. And I just wanted to shed some light on that and give some pros and cons from my perspective. I've been using Stripe to collect payments for going on 6 years now. And so I use it all the time. And the main reason I like it is because speed to money is one of the most important factors for me. Reducing the friction for people to pay you, allowing them to pay you with a credit card or a debit card or linking to their bank account. I find that it just allows me to collect payments quicker, and that means a lot to me. So on the flip side, I have to give Stripe, I think it's 2.9% interest as like a fee. So it's like a percentage fee. And so a lot of people that turns them off, but I just factor that into my prices, and I don't really care. Some other things to consider when using Stripe, like some of the cons. Actually, let's start with the pros. I think it's good to do the positive things first. So I already mentioned it, but I'll say it again, like it's convenient for your clients. And so anything you can do to make it easier for your clients to pay you will often result in them paying you more often, and it'll give them a better experience. Depending on the size of projects you're doing, some people might appreciate being able to pay with a credit card. Maybe they get points for it, whatever it might be. It's easier for them to pay. That in turn can improve cash flow. So if you're always like waiting to go collect checks from your clients, or you're waiting for them to mail them to you, that can kind of hold things up. When you collect a payment through Stripe holds it for 3 days, and then it goes directly into your bank account, and you can track it along the way. So you always know what's going on. But usually 3 days is quicker than having to wait until you can meet with somebody. And that leads me to another favorite thing of mine about using Stripe is it connects directly to our bookkeeping software. So QuickBooks or Zoho, they'll connect directly to Stripe. And so all of those transactions are automatically recorded. So when we send an invoice to somebody and they pay with Stripe, the money goes to Stripe, and QuickBooks knows that the money goes to Stripe. They've already marked the payment or the invoice paid, and we don't have to do any manual bookkeeping for that. It's already done. So when I go through a month and all the payments are through Stripe, then the only bookkeeping I have to do is to categorize expenses. Other than that, I don't have to manually put anything in, which is really helpful for me because I don't really like doing bookkeeping. Another pro could be just building trust with your customers. If they know that you're using modern tools and you're staying up to date on what's available, it might help them just trust you more, trust your systems. Everybody knows what Stripe is at this point. They trust that brand. They know that it's secure. And then they get to see that automatically on their credit card statements if they use a credit card and things like that. So it could help you build customer trust. And then the last thing is automation. So I don't know how many of you guys have like a subscription model, but there's a lot of guys out there, handyman, HVAC, companies that have some sort of like monthly or yearly subscription. And when you use these online payment platforms, it allows you to automatically charge your customers at certain times. So that means less chasing down people for money, which is always good. We have tons of things to do. We're estimating projects, we're building projects, we're buying materials, we're driving around. It sucks to have to add on calling customers over and over again and tracking them down and chasing them down and holding them down to get the money that they owe you. So having automatic payments can be a really nice thing. Okay, so let's get into some of the negative things. Obviously, the transaction fee is something to think about. 3% really adds up over time. And like I said, I just price that in, so it doesn't bother me at all. I prefer not to. I almost never add that on to the client invoice. The only time I would do that is if I have a client who's paying for something with check and it's like mostly a pass-through payment, and then they opt for a credit card. Then I'll add on the payment processing fee just because otherwise it's going to come directly out of my pocket. But if we do online payments from the start, then I'll just bake it into the prices. Another risk you take when you're doing these online payments is chargeback risk. So if someone pays with a credit card, it's possible for them to do a chargeback. So, this is just one of the risks you take. If you try it out and you find that you're getting a lot of chargebacks, I would look at why that's happening. As a contractor, you probably shouldn't get very many. And in general, as a business, you really shouldn't get many chargebacks. If you are, that's a sign of something else going wrong. Number 3, there could be some technical issues. So, if a platform goes down or you set something else up wrong, you might run into some difficulties. But I can't recall a single time in the last 6 years that Stripe was ever down or that I was ever not able to collect a payment. And a matter of fact, like for subscriptions, if a payment fails once, the platform will just continue trying to charge it on a regular basis, which is nice. Another downside could be internet dependency. So, if you're in an area where internet's spotty, you might not be able to collect a payment online. I don't think that's an issue in most places these days. We all have a cell phone. You can attach a card reader to your phone. People can put in their card information on their phone. Like it's all really easy. You do it over text, email, PDF, they all work. Another con, at least in the beginning, is the learning curve. So it can be a little bit of a challenge to set it up. It's getting easier. Like when I originally set Stripe up, the whole process took me about 10 minutes. Since then, the initial process can take a little longer because they're a lot more strict about vetting you and checking out who you are before they accept your payments. But as far as connecting it to our bookkeeping software and our estimating software, it's just a matter of logging into your Stripe account through the other software. So it's really easy. And once you have all those things set up and you understand how they work, you're good to go. But there is some kind of learning curve. You will have to learn something and you will have to change the way you do things a little bit. And then the last con might be personal interaction with your clients. So I know a lot of guys, and I'm like this sometimes as well, where I want to have more face-to-face time with my clients. I want to build more rapport, more friendship, and going to collect a check is another time to make sure that they're happy with everything and do all those kinds of things. So when you're taking payments online and you're not going to see your clients, you're not having that one-on-one interaction and you're not, there's distance between you. So that's something to consider. You can, even if they do pay online, it doesn't mean you can't go swing by their house and talk to them for a minute if you're in the area. But for you guys out there who are driving an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to a job, this could save you 4 or 5 hours round trip each time you're getting a payment. So that's probably well worth it. If there's anything I didn't cover or you have any questions, throw them in the comments. I'm happy to talk about this subject more. But at the end of the day, more and more contractors are using Stripe, and you might be one of them.